everybody, welcome. It's Wake Up Call. I hope you're all very well on a fabulous, it is a Friday, isn't it? I don't get confused, I'm normally here on a Saturday. I'm going to be with you all day, and in fact, I'm up here for a whole 8 days. 8 days, unbelievable. Nichola's going to book the next day 8 days off. Don't let that put you off and think, oh my goodness, it's going to be on for 8 days. I'm not going to be on a whole of the time, but I am going to be around. I'm looking forward to seeing all the great things we can see, and we're going to show you lots and lots of great deals as well. We've got a fun packed day all organised for you today. I mean, it's all a bit, I'm quite excited because it's all a little bit mixed media, and I don't actually get the opportunity to do a lot of mixed media. And we have got the mixed media queen with us today. We have the lovely Jan. Hello, Jan. How are you?
I am good, thank you. Yes, I'm becoming a bit more of a regular visitor at the moment, aren't I? I was only here on Sunday and now I'm back again, so I'm getting spoiled at the moment. So yes, it's a little bit more active. Had a great drive up here this morning. It was nice and sunny, which was very different to when I left on Sunday. It was bucketing it down. Yes, it was a tough drive home on Sunday. But yeah, looking forward to it. As you know, I love the mixed media. So we've got lots and lots of different mediums, basically, which is what our mixed media is all about. So lots of different things in the show for you today. Some sparkle, we've got some sparkle going on. Yes, we've got some multimedia dyes in there as well. So really looking forward to it. And then later on this evening, it's all about the animals as well. So yeah, I've had a ball prepping this last week for these shows. Can't wait to get started.
Excellent. And Jan, I have to say, you are looking incredible.
Oh, thank you.
You are looking really.
It's getting very obvious now, isn't it?
I mean, all that, your hard work. I mean, you're looking absolutely fabulous.
Thank you.
You really are. I wanted to let you know.
Oh, bless.
Lots of people are messaging in to say hello. We've got Sarah Brown saying, hello, my crafty friends, all the CTV crew, and from behind the scenes, a special hello and hugs to dear Jan and Becky from Melbourne, Australia. It's 8 p.m. now, and yes, Becky, I'll be having that hot chocolate with a dash of Bailey soon.
Oh,
that's what Sarah has. Not every night, but every night I hear from you.
You only live once.
Yeah, exactly. I'm loving that idea.
Yeah.
Stacey Brown says good morning from Nebraska. Happy Friday. Lois says good morning everyone from Ohio. And Alicia says good morning and greetings from Arkansas. Peace and love to everyone. Happy Friday. Marianne says hello all from Edmonton. And Sean says morning everyone. Lynn Morton's here. Good morning and hello. Becky, Jan, Team Social and all the CTV crew from Newcastle. Do you remember this is your opportunity to message in if you've got any questions for Jan. Have you been thinking, I quite like a bit of glitter paste, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I did notice on social media over last week, a few people were saying actually they bought the glitter paste and they're just sort of beginning to have a look at it and to get a chance to use it and can't quite remember how to use it or what to use it for or where to use it. This is your opportunity to pick Jan's brains and let us know all those questions that you've been waiting to answer. We also have your Fiver Friday, not your Fiber Friday, which I keep calling it. It's your Fiver Friday on the website where you'll be able to get all sorts of great deals just for £5. We've also got every day's a school day on mixed media, so we do have up to 70% on some items in mixed media. So perhaps mixed media is something you'll be thinking about. This is going to whet your appetite, this show today, and you'll be able to find out all those different ways of using mixed media by taking advantage of Jan being here and taking advantage of those special deals we've got on the website too. Have a look. I'm going to show you what you can see. Fiber Friday. See, I'm going to keep saying it. Actually, it's not just Fiver Friday, it's Fiber Friday. Remember to have your 5 a day today, okay? Not only are you going to buy something for £5, you're going to have your 5 a day today. All sorts of different things in here. Items for your storage. Look at all those totally Tiffany bits and pieces. There's always something in there that you're going to think, I've been waiting for that to come out. Stamp cleaning solution, that always useful to have. One of those, some tri-blends. Mixed medium items in there too, lots of different stencils and bits and pieces in there, so definitely worth having a look. We do like to give you as many good deals as we possibly can, whenever we can, so that is always a good option for you to do. The Lily Croc is in, but one of the questions I wanted to ask people today is, I've got a question. It is Read a New Book month, this month, apparently.
Just one.
Well, you see, this is the thing.
I get through half a dozen.
Well, I normally do four days, and I do a book. But that means I get through books really, really quickly. So, give me your recommendations for a book that I should read Or, you know, do you want to share something about a book? Have you read a really good book? It doesn't have to be a brand new book. Maybe it's an old book that is your particular favourite. Do you have a particular favourite book, Jan, or a particular genre that you like?
Well, do you know, I'm just going to jump from there because I have a very important job to do in a couple of weeks' time, which I've put in my editor-in-chief hat on because, as some of you know, I have brought them in before. My daughter's a writer.
Oh, really?
And she's actually working on a collection of books, which 4 of them are already published, and she's working on the 5th one, which is the end of that particular collection.
Wow.
But it's actually a prequel. So yeah, they're actually the cursed novels if you want to have a look for them. And she writes under the name of Angel McGregor. Now, I did bring the books in I would say probably going back a couple of years now, and I know some of you got into them, but yeah, she's just finishing tweaking the last book, and then my job, I'm editor-in-chief, so it comes to me first, and I get to read it and do any little sort of changes that I think are suitable, or looking for any typos or anything, and then it goes back to her to update and what have you. So yeah, I can't wait, because this is actually, we've read the 4 books in the series and seen how it's moved on through time, but this goes right back to the very beginning, and it's all about the fallen angels. So it goes right back to Lucifer's time. So yeah, it's based on some elements of reality, but then it is actually fictional. So so yeah, looking forward to that. So I have to say, as far as favourite books are concerned, it's got to be my beautiful girl who has done such a good job. This is the boys' mum, so it's Toby and Alfie's mum. At the same time as juggling 2 littlies, she's writing as well.
That's
so yeah,
incredible.
absolute superstar.
Oh, that is on my list. I love it. I love a new book.
Yeah,
so,
the first one in the series is called Destiny.
Destiny. Okay.
Yes.
Destiny.
Oh, and Nicola's having a look already. They are a good read.
Excellent.
Good read.
I need something new to read, so it's definitely going to be for me. Sarah Brown says, it's becoming more of a ritual when Becky is in to have my hot chocolate and a dash of Baileys. It's my fault.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, you're gonna need a whole bottle of Baileys. It's not a coping mechanism. I'm hearing in my ear. I think maybe you might need a new bottle of Baileys because I'm here for quite a lot for the next few days. Wendy Woodhouse says, morning everyone. Diane says, hi everyone. Charlotte Everett's in, it's saying, good morning, my crafty lovelies from here in Herne Bay. And Debbie says, try the night circus for something different and very good. Night circus. Circus. Charlotte Everett says, I write spicy romance. Oh, come on, give your book a little bit of a plug.
Have you read any of the Dan Brown novels? They used to be a favourite of mine.
Well, actually, I think I've read one, but my friend writes. So he's called Lawrence Norfolk, and he writes very much like Dan Brown. They're quite complicated books. They're quite complicated stories. And he wrote a book called John Saturnal's Feast, and it's an amazing book. But it's one of those books. It's so full. John Saturnal's Feast. It's about a guy who it's 16th century, I think, and his mother is accused of being a witch, and he becomes a cook, a chef, for want of a better term. And it has lots of a very sort of evocative kind of scenes written into it about, you know, you can imagine all the smells when they're cooking in these big houses and stuff. It's a lovely book, and it's been made into an audio book with Derek Jacobi as the narrator, so it's quite good. And actually, he was saying to me, if you write a book, you have absolutely no influence as to who's going to do your audio book. Nothing. I mean, I suspect, you know, if you were J.K. Rowling, you do, but you know, generally speaking, you don't have any say in who it might be. Just a little bit of information for you then. Keep the books coming. I really like that. I'm looking forward to seeing. This is great. I love this idea. I've got a bit of paper.
She's got a list.
And I'm going to have a list. And you're doing all my hard work for me. Right. I suppose I better do some work now. Right. Okay. Right. Glitter paste. We're going to talk about glitter paste. I know glitter paste is something that many of you have. Some of you love it. Some of you have it and don't know what to do with it. This is your opportunity to find out what you can do with it. The first one we're going to show you are the Christmassy glitter pastes. The first colour is your holly and the ivy. And you look at these pots and you think, well, there's not much in there, but a little goes a really long way. Plenty in there for doing all sorts of your crafty goods. Is this one open? Let's have a look. I think this one is open. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that colour. Really, really dark green. This kind of stuff I want to make into my I think it does smell really nice. I think it's the kind of stuff I want to be able to wear as makeup. So you're going to get the holly and the ivy, which is the green. You also get the poinsettia, which is this beautiful, rich scarlet red colour. Hopefully I can open. Can I open this one? Oh, look at that. Look at that. That one's being well used. Look at that. I think that's everybody's favourite colour. Really beautiful, rich, kind of poppy holly red. Holly red, holly berry red. Next one is your Ice Dance, which is this beautiful electric blue colour. And then you've got Fairy Lights with the gorgeous gold here. £27 or $33. Platinum price is £21.60 or $26.40. But if you're going to be wanting these, you're also going to be wanting the stencils. And we have a selection of stencils which I've got upside down. Ooh. Sorry, just got a bit of glitter up my nose. It's like yesterday, yesterday, day before yesterday, I did a Facebook Live. If you watch my Facebook Live, it was the most frightening Facebook Live I've ever done in my life because a spider ran out of my sewing machine during the show.
Do you know they're all over the place at the minute, aren't they?
Right, I've got rid of that glitter up my nose. This one here is your Christmas poinsettia. Really great collection of stencils here because you've got the large stencil and you've got the smaller one, so you can mix and match, you can use them in different ways, and look how beautiful they look once you use them with those glitter pastes. Absolutely stunning. This next one is your snowflakes. I really like that, particularly I like that small one just here. I think that looks really nice, great for little gift tags and things. Next one here is upside down. Becky, this is your Feeling Festive. I really think this one here is something you're going to be using again and again in all sorts of different colours, and that kind of snowfall effect is beautiful. Next one is your Holly Jolly Christmas with those beautiful holly berries and those twinkling bells. £28 or $35. Platinum price is £24.40 or $28. Definitely something for you to pop into your basket if you're keen on going with this glitter paste. And Jan, this is what you're going to be using for the first demo, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'm just going to go a very, very simple technique to start off with for this morning. I've got a few samples to show you, and then later on at 3 p.m. now. I have to remember it's 3 p.m. now. We're going to go into it a little bit more extensively and make a full project. But basically, I'll show you the stencils in a minute. They come as a 3-part pack, so you get 3 stencils in each packet, and you get the background element, which does all this gorgeous design. You get a border element, which you can see on this one we've just put at the back here, and then you get that focal element. So you can use all 3 of them together like so. And we've just literally layered that up as you would do normally on a card. And if you want to use them on the black card, they look equally stunning.
Ooh,
you can just see that gorgeous blue on the black card there with the snowfall. And then we've got Santa and his reindeer again. Mix them, which is what I'm going to do a little bit of this morning. You can actually mix the colours, so you can see the red and the green there, where we've used that one on the lovely poinsettia one. This bow is actually part of that stencil, so that's just the border one. There is another one in there as well, so each stencil 3 parts. And again, thinking about other mediums, this one's actually been stenciled onto acetate. So if you like making sort of acetate cards, which I love, or making acetate boxes and things like that, it might be embellishing an acetate that you've already got some pattern on. It doesn't have to be a plain acetate. So that's just a few of the things, as well as fabrics. I mean, obviously we've got our soft crafter in the building today, and the glitters will go onto fabrics as well. Now they are decorative, so if you're putting it onto fabric, it's not something that you would be able to wash because it will come away, but it's a thought if you're wanting to create something with fabric. I'm just going to pop a couple of those back out there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Holly Jolly. I've gone for the one with the holly on here, and as I say, each particular pack comes with 3 elements. If I just put this here so that you can see them a bit better, you have got an 8.5-inch stenciling. Not showing up very well on there, is it? Does it show up? It actually shows better on there, doesn't it? Yep. So 8.5 inch. And what I like about this, when Leanne designed these, she's left a decent border on here. And I used to get this all the time when I was stenciling. If you went over the edge of the stencil, you got that line of glitter paste down your project, and you ended up trimming it down, whereas this has got a really good masked area around the outside, so that if you do go over the edge with the glitter paste, you've got that bit to catch it on.
Yep.
And then also in there, like I said, you've got those other two elements. So I'll just show you those. We're just going to use the main part of it today. In fact, I might use this one actually. This is the border. I might use the, no, what I want to do is not going to work with that one this morning. All right, so it's the same theme, it's just been made shorter. And again, if you want to lengthen this, you can do a section, let it dry, and then move it down and join it up, okay? And then you've got that lovely focal point. So in this instance, you've just got those bells. You can cut round them like we saw on that card with a nesting die. You can fussy cut round them if you want to. It could just be on a square mat layer like it is there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the large one. Now, I'm going to do them onto cardstock and make a card for you in the later show, but I just wanted to show you using them to sort of embellish something that you may already have in your stash. So I've taken a sheet of 12 by 12 paper. This one happens to have come from our Tis the Season. Oh, good. And Nicola was in my ear before I was then. Yeah. So again, you've got that lovely sort of abstract side on the reverse, but I'm actually going to I'm sort of going to enhance what's already on here, which is why I chose the holly stencil with the holly and the berries, because that's what's on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of glittering over a couple of the corners here, just to sort of enhance this. And then if you were going to use this for something like a scrapbook page, or you could cut it down and have the stenciling, you know, on the 4 pieces to make your 6 by 6 cards, however you want to do it. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this over one corner. Now you can stick these down if you wish. Let me just grab our stick and spray. So here, if you want to use your repositionable adhesive, you can actually spray the reverse of your stencil. Just give it a few seconds, about 30 seconds for the propellant to sort of evaporate from it. And then this will actually stick in place without damaging your card or your paper, and it will just peel away when you're finished. Now, I'm not going to do that step today. I tend to just use mine as is. And what I do like to do is just tape them in place. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to line up my piece of card with the actual design on the stencil. And then I'm just going to put a couple of pieces of tape on the back so that I know that it's actually in position. Okay. And then I'm going to take a mixture of our holly and ivy, which was that luscious green, and the fairy lights, which is the gold. So again, I've chosen a couple of colours that ran through the paper, and I'm going to do a mixture of these. So what I do want that I haven't got out, and I don't know, I brought some with me. Let me just get a wipe out, a couple of those out, because it can be a little bit messy. But then that's the nature of mixed media crafting. A couple of those at the ready. We'll start with the green. I've also taken one of my palette knives, which we've got on the show for you today as well. So there's a set of 3 palette knives. I've gone for the one, this is the one that I like to use, that's actually got that slight angle, and then this part is completely flat. So that's the one that I'm going to use. So we're going to take this one first, the green. And you don't need masses of it. It's better to do a little off and often. So all I'm going to do is take some out on the back of my palette knife. You can just see that gorgeous glitter. It's packed full of glitter.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Really vivid.
Yeah, our Jamie's coming to have a look. Yeah. And then literally, I'm going to start from this top corner and just spread it. It's just like buttering your toast. Okay.
With glitter.
Yeah, with glitter. Why not? And all you want to do is make sure that you've pushed it into all those areas, and then when you can see that the areas are covered, then with the flat of that palette knife, just bring it over nice and flat. Okay. Okay. And again, it's just, I tend to do a little and often, rather than putting a lot of it on at once. A little and often. Now, I'm not going to come down the whole stencil. I'm just going to do sort of partial stenciling. I don't want to cover the whole piece. But just make sure that you've got plenty on there. Okay, and then once you're happy with it, I'm going to put all what's left back in here. Do not waste that goodness. You can see mine's well loved here. And then I'm literally going to just take any surplus rather than wasting all that glitter that's sort of landed on there, as long as you keep that blade flat, you can get away with taking that surplus off the edge there.
So those pots are going to last a long time, aren't they?
You can see, I mean, I've been using this one since we launched them, and there's still good over half of the pot left there.
Yeah.
Yep, so that's my green. So I'm going to pop the lid back on that one.
So palette knives are just been at the bottom, so you can see if you're getting the palette knives, definitely worth having the right tools for the job, aren't there?
And then just make sure everything's nice and clean from the green, because I'm going to add a little bit of the gold around the edge as well.
Okay.
Now, if you start mixing your glitter, then obviously it's not going to go back in here properly. So what I tend to do is keep an empty pot.
Okay.
And I put all my mixed one back into an empty pot so that you're not worrying about contaminating the original colour.
Yeah.
So somewhere in there, that's already open, I think. There we go.
Oh, look at that colour. Oh.
And I'm just going to take a little bit of the gold. I don't want a lot of it. And just round this sort of front edge here, I want to push it up towards the green. Just so that when we lift this, there's like a little hint of, almost like a highlight. So again, push it into the stencil and then just smooth it over the top. And you can see, because I'm going into that green, I am getting an element of the green glitter. Now, I don't particularly want to put that back into my pot because I don't want to mix the green with the gold. So if you've got any spare cardstock at the side of you, you can pop it on there. You could have the little border piece lined up ready and just push it through that border piece. But there's very little left on here now. So all I'm going to do is just take that off on my white there, or a piece of damp kitchen towel, a damp cloth, whatever your preferred method is for tidying up there. And then I always make sure I put the lids back on because I've had one too many accidents. So yeah, make sure we've got the lids back on and pop those to one side. I've got some dry bits there. And then we've got the reveal going on. So all I'm going to do now is lift it from this bottom corner here where I don't have any glitter. And I'm going to just peel it back, remembering that there are a couple of pieces of tape under there. So what I want to do is release it from the tape at the same time as lifting it off the paper. Okay, and you can see you've got the most gorgeous effect there.
Oh, and it looks
just
like it belongs.
Enhancing something that was already beautiful. And if you do get any little tiny bits that you think, oh, that's just a partial sort of print here, while it's still wet, and if you're very pedantic like Jan is, you can just take, if you wish, I mean, at the end of the day, because we've only used part of the stencil, you're going to get areas that are not full, but I don't mind that. And then the idea is that we were going to do the same, but you can see, it's going to come out exactly the same as this. And I just think it's a really nice way to enhance something that you've already got. And this will take now probably, it all depends on what environment you're working in. As a lot of you know, I work in my conservatory, so on a nice warm day it doesn't take very long at all, about 10 minutes to dry.
Oh really?
If it's a little bit cooler and there's not as much sort of heat in the air, I would say probably 30 to 40 minutes to make sure it's totally dry. But once it's dry, you can chop into it, you could die cut over it, there's so many different things you can do. I'm just going to take that piece of tape off the back there before I get stuck to it. So I'm going to pop this to one side to dry, and we'll come back towards the end of the show and have a look at it because it will dry. It's actually wet at the minute, so you're seeing more of the wet glitter. Once it's dry, that sparkle on there is absolutely stunning. So we'll have a look at it. We'll revisit it towards the end of the show. Now, as far as housekeeping's concerned for the stencil, just behind me, I've got a little water bath, which is just a tray or a box lid or anything you've got with a little bit of warm water in. I'm going to drop this and submerge it in the water and leave it. Okay, and what happens is that all this, because the glitter paste is water based, it will just all start and lift itself, and your stencil, you might just need to give it an odd little rub when you pull it out, but it is good housekeeping because once this dries on here, it's not as easy to get it off, and then if you start scratching at it with something, there's a danger of actually damaging your stencil. So yeah, good practice. Pop it in the water bath, just leave it there, let the water do its job, and then when you pull it back out again, most of this will have dissolved into the water. So I'm off to do that now, Becky, while I think on and get that in some water. And then, as I say, we'll come back and revisit that glitter when it's dried a little bit later on.
Brilliant, that's fantastic. These are your glitter paste and your stencils. And am I right in saying that you could use any of our stencils with the glitter paste?
Absolutely.
So any of the ones that we've had, like we launched some with the Duet Impals, didn't we? Would they work with glitter paste?
Yes, absolutely
so?
any.
Fantastic.
Any stencil that you have in your stash. It doesn't have to be one that was designed for the glitter paste.
Brilliant. Oh, that makes it worthwhile, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because you can use it in lots of different ways. So these are the stencils. You can see when Jan was talking about those 3 different size stencils you get in each pack. This first one is your Christmas poinsettia. So you've got all of that sort of detail with those poinsettia leaves and flowers there, as well as those 2 different types of those sort of bows. Then this next one is beautiful. This is your gorgeous graceful snowflakes, really beautiful. And I love the idea, Jan was saying, just putting them on sort of pieces of paper. You might have some of the, was it winter sparkle? Yeah, winter sparkle that came a couple of years ago. You might want to sort of have a few bits of that, and using that, the paper pads in that kind of way that we've just seen Jan doing. I think that's a really great idea. This next one is, I think this was my favourite one, this one with the snowfall, feeling festive. I think that is really, really beautiful with that little bell and your Father Christmas. And then finally you've got this one here, which is your Holly Jolly Christmas, with those gorgeous sort of holly and berries, and also those bells on there as well. £28 or $35. Platinum price is £22.40 or $28. These are your glitter pastes that you've just seen us use. So I'm just going to hold them all here so you can see all of those different colours. 4 different colours in here. You can see how beautiful they are. Really, really in-depth, deep, glittery goodness. Glittery goodness. Yeah, as one of the comments was, we all want to put glitter on our toast. If we could eat it, I think who wouldn't? White chocolate spread with gold glitter, that'd be nice. £27 or $33. Your platinum price is £21.60 or $26.40. And as you saw, those pots go a long, long way. So it's going to be something that's not going to be used up very quickly. You'll definitely have these for some time. The next item I'm going to show you, I really like these. When they I'm hoping I might be able to get hold of these, quite soon. I might see if I can, there might be some for me to go and, can I just pop out quickly and pop down to the warehouse and go and get these, because I think these are gorgeous. And I don't want to show you them because I like them so much. There's not many of these left. You don't want those. I want these. These are absolutely gorgeous. This is sloth mode on. This is my life. This I think is absolutely gorgeous here. All of those little stamps and those sentiments with those gorgeous sloths. Who doesn't love a sloth? Now, didn't we find out before that someone said sloths have little green fleas on them, I think that's what somebody told me. I'm sure somebody will say yes. And I was asked a question actually about the glitter paste while we're talking about glitter paste. Can you use glitter paste on acetate? Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Fantastic. Yes. That's good. As Laura says, always fun to watch Jana work her magic, and Sarah Brown says a great demo. Lots of people loving all of that. I'm going to go back to these. I just trying to distract you because I don't want I don't want them to sell out, and there's not that many left. I want them. So anyway, this is a sloth. I mean, good. Look at them. Look at those gorgeous little slothy good people and all those little sentiments. Really cute. That's just one of these. The next one here is your elephants. Who doesn't love an elephant? Everyone loved that David Attenborough, can never remember which one's which. David Attenborough, when it was all about the baby elephants. Oh, look at those, live your best life. I think baby elephants do, don't they? I love these llamas. When we did the Christmas llama, those punny stamps, which I can just see, just by my foot over here. These llamas are really cute, very gorgeous little things. Look at this, the flamingo. I love a flamingo. I've got some flamingo glasses at home. I do love a flamingo. Not glasses. The glasses to drink out of, not glasses here, things to drink out of. No, in fact, I went to a place called Crazy Bear, which is a restaurant, and they've got a chain of them. There's like 5 or 6 in the UK, and they have lots of crazy things. So they had taxidermied flamingos covered in diamonds. It's just like being in my dream. I think it's a gorgeous place. Great minds drink alike. These lovely little pandas. Look at these. I have to get this. It's my niece's birthday next week. She loves a panda. I have to have these. You need them too, but save one for me. £18.71 or $26.21. Platinum price is just £14.97 or $20.97. That's for all of these 5 pieces all together. Definitely worth popping in your basket after I've got mine. Jan, what one are you going to be using?
We're going to use the Flamingo this morning, and then I've got another demo planned for later in the day this evening with the little pandas as well. So I've just pulled a few samples out to give you some ideas of these. They're absolutely gorgeous. I always think this one is gorgeous for baby cards, new baby cards. I think the little elephant, there's something about him that would be absolutely gorgeous. And again, if you're not into colouring, if that's not your bag, then you can always stamp onto some kind of pattern paper and have patterning in the background of it, yeah?
Yeah.
So we've got those pandas there. We're going to use these later on tonight. I just think they are great. And again, we've just highlighted one of them here just by cutting an aperture into our background piece. And then the little sloth, this one, absolutely gorgeous. So combining it with things that you already might have in your stash. This was one of our cut and emboss folders that we launched previously. And just highlighting them like that along there, I think they are stunning. Again, if you enjoy colouring, as you know that I am, primarily a stamper. I love anything to do with colour, and I do love my alcohol markers. These are great, just, any of the designs. You can see there we've got a stepper card. So they will mix and match with pretty much anything. If you collect the Sarah Sig collections or the Nature's Garden, you can see we've just used matting and layering in the background there. Mix and match them with stamps that you may already have if you don't want to use the sentiments from the sets. They're just a real good bit of fun. And that's what we're going to do with those flamingos. So I've picked my stamp set out here. And I'll Stand By You, it's called. And you can just see here we've got 3 different poses with the flamingos, and I'm going to use all 3 of them in my demo, and lots of sentiments on there. So you've got life is all about balance, which would suit my card that I've made. I've actually used this one, stand tall and be fabulous. I love that as a sentiment. I'll stand by you, be flamazing. So you can see there's a play on words with all of these, pretty in pink, and we flamingo well together. Aww. So yeah, lots of different occasions it would cover. They are an acrylic stamp, so again, these are going to last you a very long time. Just clean them up, with whatever you use, whether you use the stamping cleaning station or whether, like myself, it's just a quick wipe down with my cloth. But I'm going to actually bring my stamping platform in, and I've got some Nina cardstock, which is my go-to cardstock when I use my alcohol markers. So I've got a couple of my tri-blend markers that we're going to use here. Any of the markers will do this. It doesn't have to be tri-blends. You could use the Illustrators, the Classiques, whatever you have in your stash. And I'm going to stamp straight onto here with our alcohol-proof ink. Okay, so it is important to make sure, and I always think it's worth thinking what your colouring medium is going to be first. So the fact that I knew I was going to use my tri-blends, my alcohol markers, I've gone for my Finesse ink, which is alcohol proof, because I don't want that line art to disturb when I actually start colouring. So what I'm going to do, I want to do a tower of all these. I just saw them and thought they would look great all towered up together. So the idea with this is there's a little bit of masking involved. Now, as far as masking's concerned, it is just literally an outline of your stamped images. Now, I did this one before I got my hands on our new masking tape. Right. So this is cut out of an old sticky note. It's just got one bit of it that's sticky. But the masking tape is perfect for that. I'm just going to have a quick swizz. I can't see any to hand at the minute. I'll see if I can find some to show you later. But basically, stamp on it, and it has got the sticky, tacky back. It's right in front of me.
No, it's behind. It was behind
Becky's
something.
Just walked right over to it and grabbed it, and it was like stood staring at me.
It was behind one of the tins. So you wouldn't have
this is actually the masking tape. So again, it is tacky back. Okay, I'll just lift that edge. Somebody's had a good ripping time with this one by the looks of it.
So I bought some of this, but I've not used it yet.
Yeah. Somebody's had fun with this one. It's got, it's like when you tear the cling wrap and it just all goes nasty. There we go, look. So yeah, it's basically tacky on the back. Yeah, it's not sticky, it's just tacky. So what I do is I tear a piece of this off, I'll pop it down onto my my mat, and then you stamp on top of it.
Okay.
So this is just like paper on the top of it. Let the ink dry and then cut them out.
Okay.
So you'll get this kind of effect, but in the white.
Right.
And then I keep these. I usually stick these to the relevant part of the stamp set when I'm putting them away. And just keep them. You'll get several uses out of them before, in my case, before this tacky wears off, even more so out of the masking tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all 3 of these little guys off my carrier sheet. We're going to use all 3 of them, but I'm going to stamp them one at a time. So what I actually want to do is sort of have them like so. We're going to pop them as if they're towering on top of each other like so. Okay, so just make sure you've got your positioning okay. So I tend to lay them down like so. Now I've got elements here that are overlapped, one stamp to the other. So if I stamp that over the top of my first stamp, I'm going to get his foot sort of stuck in his back or overlapping the first one. Okay. So in general rule of thumb, when you're masking, whichever one you want to be in the foreground is the one that you stamp first. Okay. And in this instance, I'm going to stamp the bottom one because I actually want them to be sort of tucked behind as if they're balancing on top of them. So I'm going to take these 2 away. I'm going to keep him at the bottom about even distance, and then we'll pick him up with our platform there. Okay, and then stamp him out. He's the first one to go. So this is going to be the one that we're going to see the whole image of. So I've got my flagstone, which a lot of you know is my sort of go-to stamping ink. I very rarely use the black unless it's something that I want to be quite striking. I just find the flagstone a little bit softer. And then we're going to stamp him out first onto that Nina cardstock. Lots of pressure on there. And you can see they are just good fun. Yeah. Okay. And then what we're going to do, normally I would cut a mask out for each of these, but I was being very lazy because the only bit I need to mask here is the top of his back. Normally this would go over your stamped image so that when you stamp again, it makes it look as if it's behind. Now I'm just going to cheat with this one because the only bit that's going to overlap is that bit there. All right, so again, I'm going to take away the first stamp and they just get trepped to a quick while I'm in the studio there. And then we're going to take the next one. So the next one's going to be this one. And I'm just going to pop him again as if he stood on his back, but slightly overlapped where that mask is. Just make sure I've got room, for that third one. And then we're going to stamp him out as well. So where the mask is, obviously this is now going to stamp over the top of the mask, which means it's not going to interfere with the stamped image that I've already done underneath. So again, pop that one down. Lots of nice pressure on there to transfer that ink. And he's now going to be balancing on top of him. But when we move this one here, I can see his foot at the minute, but when we move it, it looks as if it's gone behind him. Now this was actually the one for this particular one, so I'm going to pop that one over the top there. And then we're going to bring in that last one and pop him. So the same method now, it will look as if he stood behind. So again, we're going to balance him on top here. His little foot is overlapping the back of that one. Okay, pick that one up and then do the same again. So that mask is going to prevent it over stamping the one that I've already done. So lots of ink on that one. Pop that in place. And you can do this technique with any of the platforms. You know that the magnetic one is my go-to piece of equipment, but if you use a rocker block or an acrylic block, any of the other stamping platforms, you can still do this. It's just a case of masking that area that you want to go behind the image that you've already done. Yep. Okay, so when we take that mask away again, I can see his little claws here, but they've actually gone behind him. So you can see that sort of tower of them there, as if they're all...
They look so cool.
It's such a simple technique, but it does give a really good effect. And then I have one of these already finished, so I'm not going to spend an age, but I actually went through my markers to see if I could find a suitable sort of flamingo pink. And I actually came up with the magenta blend was perfect in my mind. It was a really nice sort of shade of pink. So again, you know, we've got a Colour Me Happy show coming up later on. But again, you know, you don't have to do, I always say this when you're colouring, it doesn't have to be the 3 pen blends. I just want to show you here, just adding that one layer of colour, and if that's where you're at in your colouring journey, they look equally as good. So again, I'm just going to lay that lightest shade down, turn the work so that I can get to where I'm wanting to colour. And I just thought that pink was perfect. Now don't forget, if you are using an alcohol marker, the ink will go down slightly darker when you first apply it, because you need that alcohol to evaporate, so it will dry just a fraction lighter. Now because I'm only putting one layer down, I'm actually going to do the whole thing. If I was going to do some shading, I would just do parts of it at a time, because what you don't want to happen is once that alcohol's evaporated, it makes it a bit more difficult to blend. You want the ink to remain wet while you're blending that second shade in, but I'm just literally going to do him all the same colour, and I'll show you the one that I've done and finished. So again, all the way down.
What's the song? Who's the song by Pretty Flamingo?
Ooh, I don't know.
Do you know that song, Pretty Flamingo? It's probably not those words at all. Like the other time when I sang a song and everyone was like, no, wrong words.
And then when I'm actually doing any kind of alcohol colouring like this, I tend to go around the edge of the image with one of my neutral colours. So in this case, it's the ice grey. Now I do normally use the lightest one, but I need to replace my pen. It was getting very low when I used it the other night. So I'm just going to use the next one just to give you an idea. But on the outside of the line art, just copy the line. And again, remember that this will actually dry a little bit lighter. And what it does, it makes it look as if it's standing off the page. So rather than it being flat, it gives the image that there's actually that bit of shadow behind it. Some people like to just do it down one side. I tend to go around the whole image, and it just looks as if you've got like that little drop shadow behind it. So yeah, any bits that are enclosed like this, I tend to put the grey in the background. Like
Very
so.
effective.
And then literally just round the outside of it, you can see how it sort of lifts it. If you compare this now to one of the ones that isn't coloured, you can just see how it sort of gives that impression that it's standing proud of the page and creating a little shadow. So there we go, look, you can just see him there. So if you look at this one now compared to these, once this has dried out a little bit, it just looks as if it's sort of been lifted up off the page.
Definitely.
And then if I bring the one in that I've actually done at home and finished colouring, all I've added to it is a little bit of I felt when it was finished that it just needed something to sort of focus it all. So again, you've seen me do this before, where we literally just take a micron pen, and the idea is not to be straight. I can't draw a straight line, not freehand, so I deliberately go wobbly. So literally, it doesn't matter what it looks like, just take it down the page, and then you go a second time, and where you've dipped, I go over the top this time, just to create that sort of like entwined effect on it. And it just adds that little bit of extra framing for it, and then I tend to sort of go through with the stitching lines on it. Yeah, so you can see there where we've got to that point. And then of course, you know, no project's finished without a little bit of bling. So I've just added 3 little bits of bling there and a hello friend, and then kept this very, very, very simple. I've just created a nice tall thin card, which is one of our DL cards. So the DL standing for double length. So this is a piece of A4 cardstock. So it measures across the 8¼ inches. So I've cut it to 8¼ inches square, and then I've scored it at 4 1/8. So it literally is just folded in half. So you get that DL. I've created a matten layer with some pink and some black, and we're just going to pop that on with a bit of our double-sided tape. I was sort of looking as to whether to put the any of the sentiments on the front, because there wasn't a lot of extra space. So I've just gone with a little tiny sentiment there on the front that I had in my stash. And then, as you know, I like to decorate the inside of my cards as well, Becky.
Yeah.
It just gives them a bit more support when they're standing and things like that. If you've got a lot of layers on the front, they get heavy. They can sometimes topple.
Yeah.
So I have created an internal layer, and that's where I've used the sentiment. So again, just pop round the edge. If you prefer your wet glue, I would be using my all-purpose on this if it's just sticking cardstock to cardstock. And I've just made these mats. I wanted the black layer to be just narrow enough just to highlight that frame there. Yeah. And then I used my sentiment from the stamp set, the Stand Tall and Be Fabulous there. And I've actually stamped this to go inside. So I've just cut a piece that we're actually going to pop, and I've gone round the edge with the pink just to tie it all in. Yeah. And literally, we're just going to pop that one.
Was that using the same pen, or did you use an ink pad to go around the edge?
It was an ink pad. It's the fuchsia ink that I've gone round the outside, so it's a good enough match for me. Yeah. So yeah, it is. I know you can use the alcohol pens around the outside of your card, but personally, I've not had a lot of success with that. I find that they can actually. It migrates, it sort of bleeds into the card a little bit. So I just tend to go back to my inks, because all those inks were designed, you know, with all the colours in mind. That to me just links with that beautifully. Absolutely. So you can see you've got that lovely little tower of flamingos. He's minding his own business at the bottom, just eating his cupcake. He's not bothered that they're all balancing on him. And then using the sentiment on the inside there. So we'll turn you that one round so we can have a look that way.
I love that.
Using those flamingos, which were the I'll Stand By You.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, I absolutely adore that. Oh my goodness. Sold, really. Sold. I mean, let's be honest. I haven't got them yet, because it'd be really rude if I was ordering stuff on my phone while Jan's showing me how to use them. But there will actually, there has been many times when I've been on a show thinking I really like the look of that, and it's sold out. Well, we don't get preferential treatment. I have to be honest with you. If we don't get our orders in, we don't get them either. This is to recap what you're going to be getting in this, because they are gorgeous, and there might be enough for me to have one and for all of you to have one, let's hope. This is your sloth mode on, really gorgeous selection of different stamps there. Then you've got your elephants. We have your llamas. We have the flamingos. I love that idea, putting them on top of each other. I think that's brilliant. And then you've got the pandas. Really looking forward to seeing what Jan's going to do with those a little bit later. £18.71 or $26.21. Platinum price is £14.97 or $20.97. People loving what you've just made. Alicia's asked for exact measurements again, if you don't mind, for that card. We'll get that in just a second. So everyone says how amazing it is. Love the card. Love the simplicity and not too fussy.
Yes, sometimes it doesn't have to be all out. You know, I wanted the stamps to do the trick here. Yes, I could have matted and layered it on lots of background papers and things like that, but I just wanted these to be the focal point. So I actually took a piece of our white multi-purpose card. All right, and this is an 8 1/4 inch width. So all I did was actually cut it on the long side at 8 1/4 to make a square. All right, so the DL card stands for double length. So whatever your width is, the length is double it. Okay, so literally the 8 1/4 inches scored down the centre at 4 1/8 gives you that double the length.
Lovely.
All right, so that's the external card. The matting and layering is entirely, I normally come down in 1/4 inch increments. So my first mat layer would be 3 7/8 by 3 7/8 by 6 7/8. Yeah, no, 7 7/8. Yeah. But then I just wanted a very narrow border of the black, so I didn't want as much of the black showing, because I just wanted it to separate the images from that background layer. So again, the matting and layering, however you want to go with it.
That's brilliant. Love it. Thank you so much. It's really useful, that. Do remember to keep any questions coming in, and also let me know what book you think, give your book recommendations to everybody, because it's always nice to hear what people are reading. We're going to go for a quick break, give you the opportunity for you to check out your baskets. I might just grab my phone and just do my quick order while we're having a break. I'll see you in a couple of moments. I think I've always been a little bit crafty. I used to craft when I was very young, and I say craft, I used to take a needle and a cotton and sew all my own clothes, tie-dye and things like that. South Yorkshire's a gorgeous place. Barnsley in particular, I love. It gets a lot of flack, but it's a really beautiful, picturesque place to live, especially because there's lots of green places around there, lots of lovely parks and things like that, but it is a gorgeous place to live. So the people who inspire me, well, the people who inspire me most, especially into craft, was my Auntie Jean, who's no longer with us, but I give her always a big shout out because she absolutely introduced me properly into the passion of paper crafting. I followed Craig for a long time before he actually joined Crafters Companion, and I always loved his style. I used to follow his blogs, all these things that he used to do on Facebook and all the various companies that he used to work for, and then I absolutely felt honoured when he joined our team. You know what's lovely about having all this amazing team from Craig, Jan, Debbie, Michelle, Becky? Have I missed anyone? I'm trying to remember. I don't think I have, but it's lovely because they're like-minded people. We love and passionate about craft, especially Crafters Companion. So for me, having that lovely team is just phenomenal, and I wouldn't be without them literally every single day. I have a big love affair that has been going now for 40, let's get this right, 41 years with a certain group called Bucks Fizz, or as they are now known, The Fizz. When I got that phone call, well, firstly, I had the email saying, would I like to come and join? And I used to work in the Crafters Companion store, I was assistant manager there. But when I got that email, I thought at first, is this a joke? Because I had to check, was this a joke? But when I actually went for the interview and went through the process, when I got that phone call from Laura to tell me that they had wanted me on that TV team, that for me to date is the biggest, proudest moment I've ever had working for Crafters Companion in the 6 years that I've been here.
Here at Crafters TV, it couldn't be easier to get social with us. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, on your TV or tablet, you can get so close to the action, it's like you're in the studio with us. You can ask questions about products or crafty techniques. Get hints and tips from our expert demonstrators. Plus, share pictures of your crafty makes with our amazing community. Crafters TV, getting you closer to the crafty action.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Lillian Kwok has reminded me, it was Lillian who told me about how sloths have actually got green algae on their fur, and then they have little fleas that eat the green algae. So whilst they look gorgeous, perhaps not something you want to stroke. Let's be honest. Kim Elos says, being new to colouring with the markers, I greatly appreciate the best practices shared with in these demos. Super helpful. If you are in any doubt of what markers to use, what colours to use, this is your opportunity to ask Jan while she's here. I know it can be quite daunting when you first start and you look at all those ink pads and you look at all those pens and you just doesn't quite sink in as to what you need to do. There are no silly questions. So if you want to ask a question about any of the markers we've got, please do so. Speaking of markers, acrylic markers. We've got some acrylic markers here for you. These, I automatically think of colouring those rocks and things like that, or colouring something, maybe decorating a glass. But there are lots of other things you can do with these. This first one here is your collection. I've got, what colour is these? What are you called? What are you called? Jewel. I couldn't see it. Jewel colours. So you've got pinks, orange, purples and violets in this one. The next one is your pastel. Love those colours. Very spring-like. Kind of Easter colours. In rose, you've got aqua, you have lime and you have lilac. And the next one is your essentials, where you've got gold, silver, black and white. And then finally, you've got your brights, your primary colours, sort of primary colours, red, yellow, blue and green here. And this collection of all of these markers, you've got 16 altogether, is £22 or $30. Your platinum price is £17.60 or $24. So am I right? You can use them on glass, you can use them on pebbles, and then I don't know what else I would use them for. So where else would you put them?
Oh, I'm going to show you some samples,
Oh,
Becky.
excellent.
So yeah, so we can have a look. They go onto lots of different surfaces, they really do. So it is actually an acrylic paint in a marker. So if you think about painting, it's sort of a different level to colouring. You get a much more opaque finish with these. And again, a beautiful range of colours. I brought my pastel shades here that I'm going to use. I'm just going to do a little technique for you with them this morning. But just to show you the pens themselves, again, it's all been thought through really, really well. These have actually got a little window in them. So you can see in the bottom here that you've got like a gauge. So you can see where the paint is. So as you're using the pens, I mean, mine's still got quite a bit in here, but you can see how that's going to go down. And then they've actually got a 3mm chunky sort of bullet nib on them. So again, you can see here, I've just taken some black card. Now the colours will show up better on a darker surface. And when they come to you, don't think you've got a dud set, because all the nibs will be white when they first come to you. All the ink's nicely inside the pen. So the first thing that I would always do with these, because it's quite a thick sort of viscous medium in there, you can hear the little ball bearing in there. So anything that's got any kind of gloopy texture to it, we normally pop the ball bearing, the little mixing ball in there, and it will agitate all that paint. So the first thing you want to do is give it a good shake. And then when you first get these to prime them, all you're going to do is hold the pen upright and push your nib down onto the paper, and keep doing that in succession, and you will see that ink slowly start and wick its way down. So the action of releasing the valve inside will let that paint wick down until eventually you can see that my nibs are actually the same colour as the paint, and you get the most gorgeous opaque coverage. Especially on the dark card there. Yeah, now we're going to do a little bit of a technique with them. I'll show you the 4 colours. I've only got this particular pack with me today, but just to give you an idea of the, you've got, that one was lime, this one is the lilac. You see, that one's a little bit, take your own advice, Jan. You can see why you need to shake it. I can't even hear the ball bearing in there yet, because obviously where they've been laid down, I keep mine horizontal. That paint's settled.
Right.
So yeah, you can see this is what happens when they're not mixed up properly. So again, if we go over this, here we go, look, you can see when it's mixed up, you've got that beautiful coverage. So that was the lilac. Then we've got a beautiful aqua. And again, there we go, you can hear that little mixing ball inside. It is worth taking the time to just do that. And I usually just press it down to get that ink flowing. Really, really nice colours. Now these will work on a lighter coloured card. They will work on any card surface. You're just going to get the sort of maximum benefit of the colour on a darker card. All right, so again, you've got that lovely rose. This would have been great for those flamingos, wouldn't it? It's that flamingo pink again. You can see there. So to talk about what they work on, I am actually going to use them on some black card in a second, but you know, enhancing things again that you may already have. So this is actually an embossing folder that we've popped through, and then literally just use the pens to enhance. And because they are a water-based acrylic paint, you can actually mix them with your water and do those beautiful water techniques where you mop the paint up off the mat and things like that. Let it dry. And then we've gone over the top. Now the Essentials set has got the white one in. It's one of the best white paint markers I've ever come across. You can see here we've created that moon effect. Again, going straight onto fabric. This one's actually been done onto a piece of denim. So it's been die cut and then the colours popped straight onto denim. Again, it is only decorative purposes. It wouldn't be, you wouldn't be able to wash it. All right, so it is just a decorative element. And again, while we're on the denim, you can see, you know, just taking it to different levels. If you like to do sort of freehand, this has actually been put onto a denim, like a makeup bag or a case. So again, on a decorative element, But then how about, you know, the inexpensive clear plastic phone cases and actually decorating. So this has been done on the inside here.
Yeah.
And then you can actually personalise your own phone cases.
That's a clever idea, isn't it?
So it's just like the plastic phone cases, the clear one. That's what I've got on my phone at the minute. It will also go onto glass. So this is just a little glass jar that we've decorated, straight onto there. Doesn't take a massive amount of time to dry. It will take longer to dry on something that is non-porous, as opposed to the cardstock that will absorb some of the moisture. So just bear in mind it will take a little bit longer, but this is totally dry. Again, more of a decorative. It wouldn't be dishwasher safe. It would actually start and pull some of it off. So it is just decorative. And then like Becky said, you know, we all think of the gorgeous little stones.
Yeah.
And I know there is actually a whole sort of family and market of these out there on social media where people actually do this and put their details on the back and then they leave them for other people to find.
Yeah.
So on social media you can actually post your photos and tag people in them. And I know where we go to our caravan at the coast, there's people do them up there, and my Toby just loves finding them. Take a photo of him with it, you know, where he's found it, and then you go and hide it somewhere else for the next person to find. And then pop it and tag the person on social media that's done it so that they know that their stones actually had some use. So yeah, really, really sort of nice little way of involving the kiddies with it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do you a quick demo onto some black card. And I have got somewhere, what did I do with it? I had a piece of card. Where's it gone? We'll use this one.
I have got a question about these. Stephen Lee says, will these pens dry on faux leather? I'm assuming
I don't see why not.
Yeah?
I don't see why not, because it's only the same as using them, for example, on the plastics or the glass. Yeah.
Just spend a little bit of time letting them dry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant.
So I'm going to stay with my line one. I've taken just a small section of black card. Now this was intended to be the front of a card blank, of a card design. Didn't actually get the card finished because I've been very busy with all the wet mediums for the mixed media, getting everything ready for today. But this would very easily become the front of a card. Now I have done this technique before with our metallic markers, which are metallic paints. So these work alongside the acrylic paints beautifully. I'm going to bring one of these in. You'll find these on the website if we've got them in stock. So what I'm going to do, I've just marked up my piece of cardstock. You may not be able to see it there. It's for my benefit, really. I've just marked it up with some pencil so that I've got an idea of where I want to work. And I found the centre point of the width of my card. Now I cut this, these were scraps that I grabbed out of my box. It measures 7.5 by 3.5. So at 1 3/4, I've just measured the centre, and then I've just grabbed out of my box one of many of my washi tapes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to mask out an area again in the centre. So I just want a length of this that's the same length as the card. And all I'm going to do is go from side to side and just eyeball where I've put that little marker as the centre point, like so.
If you didn't have washi tape, could you use low tack tape?
Yeah, just make sure that you've taken a lot of the tack off it. You don't want to leave any residue on here because we're going to write in this middle space. So you don't want any sort of adhesive residue.
Okay.
The washi tape's very inexpensive. You can buy it from a lot of different places. We've even had some in some of our collections. So I think most people have got it in their stash. But yeah, the masking tape would work. You know, the low tack tape or a masking tape would work as well. Just make sure that it's very, this doesn't stick very much at all. So when I take it off, it leaves no residue on my actual card. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that lime green one to write a word in here. And I'm going to go straight through the tape. So again, I've got that area in behind the tape that's not going to receive the paint marker. So literally, we're going to start pretty much at one side. And I'm going to come straight down. Not very straight, but hey-ho. And we're going to start to write the word happy. Now, anything that's got a horizontal, I'm going to come under that washi tape so that I can see it, yeah? And then we're just going to carry on with the wording. And you don't have to be perfect for these. Again, with that horizontal, I'm going to come across, use the washi tape as a barrier for it. Yeah. And then we're going to start with our next letters. And you can do this with any lettering. And again, just the bottom of the P is going to come under that tape. You can do it with anything. I'm just going to do Happy Christmas,
You're very lucky you've got neat handwriting, Jan, because mine would be all over the place.
You know, I spent such a long time in school teaching handwriting with the kiddies that I had to perfect mine. I have always been reasonably neat at writing, but when you're teaching it to children, obviously you can't have illegible handwriting. So I know I've seen some different ones in my time that have been very sort of spidery. My husband's writing's not the best. And yeah, it's just something that over the years, and I used to do a lot of calligraphy as well when I was younger, which I love. I don't get much chance to do it now. So again, I'm just going to come over this and make these slightly thicker. So by going a second time, this ink's pretty much dry on the cardstock because, like I said, this is a porous surface. It is pretty much dry already. It may take a fraction longer to dry over the washi tape, but that's not actually going to be part of the design. That is just there to create that masked area. So all I'm doing is just thickening that up slightly so that that green sort of becomes quite prominent.
And if you don't have neat handwriting like Jan, you could use the light box, and we just put the details up on the bottom of the screen. Obviously, it wouldn't necessarily work if you're going to be using black card, but if you're going to be using white card, that would work really well, wouldn't it?
The other thing that you can do as well, if you really don't like your own handwriting, and I know a lot of people don't, is I used to run through my printer. I'd choose a font on my printer that I like and print it really light in draft. So that rather than using black ink, go for a real pale grey so that it's virtually, again, maybe not so much on the black, but you get it on a lighter coloured card, and then you can just trace over the top of it.
Yeah, good idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good idea.
So once we've done that, we're going to remove that middle piece now. I'm going to take the washi tape, and you can see we've got that area now. You think,
oh my God, that looks amazing.
What's happened?
Wow.
Yeah. And then
ta-da!
I'm actually going to bring in one of the metallic ones, all right, because the bullet nibs on the acrylic ones for what I want to do next are a little bit thick. So again, we've had these on shows before. If we've got them in stock, they will be on our website. We do them in silver, gold and in copper. And again, you can hear that ball bearing in there. Anything that's got that sort of gloopy mixture in. And these come to you exactly the same. They're all white when they first come. It's the same action. Whoops. Try not to pull the whole thing out, Jan. I don't know what happened there. Got a bit giddy. Do you know, I can't do anything without getting messed up, can I? I thought I was safe with this one. I haven't even put my apron on yet. I brought my apron for later.
I was going to say to you, have you not got an apron?
I do usually, yeah. When I get to the good stuff, I normally have my... I thought I was safe on this show. Here we go.
Nicola's just saying she uses the apron that I made on a show. So I made this apron that wraps around your body, like crosses over at the back. So it's really good because it just doesn't get you messy anywhere. You know, normal aprons sort of finish here, don't they? And you end up with, you know, you can end up with mess on either side. This covers you completely. And Nicola, you still use it? Wow. I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed it hasn't fallen apart.
Once we got the nib in the right place here, you can see that this is actually thinner. It's the very, very narrow one. So this is actually the 0.7 mil out of there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go across the middle now. We're actually going to do the rest of the greeting. So again, I'm just going to use that bit that we masked to actually write the rest of the wording here. So again, we're just going to go.
Those pens are available on the website. You get 3 colours, gold, silver and copper colour. £20, did we say? £20. So they are available, just the ones that you've seen Jan using right now. Oh, 9 pens altogether, 3 packs of 3.
3 in each pack.
Fantastic, that's great value.
So there's 3 different nib sizes in each pack. And as I said, this is a metallic painting here. So again, I don't think I'm particularly very central with it. But you get the idea of it. So however you want to do these.
That looks great. Can you write my Christmas cards for me, please?
You know, so if you're not into stamping and colouring, it's not bad, that one. This is the one I did at home. It's pretty much, we're nearly, this is a bit more central.
Yeah.
That one was a little bit to the left. And then the idea was, you know, the pencil lines will just rub away with a pencil eraser, and then you can matte and layer this. And what I was going to do was go for a very thin silver layer to pick out the silver pen. And then I wanted that green. And the Centura Pearl in the chartreuse is a perfect match for that lime green in the acrylic paint, so that it was going to have another layer around it. And I was effectively going to go for this size card, but I was going to go for that 10th fold, so we'd got it landscape ways. But yeah, didn't quite get time to finish it off. But that's the idea. And again, you know, using different colours, I just had a go at it in a different colour for you there. You can see we've got Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas. It could be Happy Birthday. You could do Happy Holidays. It doesn't even have to be seasonal. Yeah. You know, it could be Happy Birthday. So yeah, it's a really nice way of doing it. And as I say, if you're not so keen on actually working out the handwriting, then project something onto it or stencil, trace something onto it that you can just write over the top of. Nobody will know.
That looks brilliant. Oh, I love that. I'm sort of thinking about that calligraphy. There was a message that I saw earlier and I didn't get a chance to say anything. From Zoe Carver. Says, good morning, everyone. I woke up this morning to a bunch of flowers and chocolates. It's my wedding anniversary today and I made my invites and order of service. Happy anniversary.
Yes.
What is it? You know, what year is it? No, because what do you get? Because I think the first year is paper or cotton. Isn't it?
I think it's paper the first one, isn't it? Yeah.
Maybe you'd be getting one of the books if it's the first year. I don't think it's the first year for you. But see, whatever it is, happy anniversary for you. Happy birthday if there's anyone having a birthday as well. I've got a question about from Marie who says, can the masking tape go through the Gemini? I think the question was with regards to that flamingo design. You cut that by hand, didn't you, with scissors? Because you don't have any dies with those stamps, do you? But if you had those, we do have some shapes that have got dies, don't we? So you could go through the Gemini with the masking tape. Do you just put that on a piece of card?
I think you could probably get away with using the masking tape for the Gemini. My only issue with it would be, even though it's only tacky, the pressure in the Geminis are phenomenal. So it may seal the masking tape to whatever you're cutting it. Right. You know. So for example, if it's just against one of the plates, you might get some of the adhesive on the plate, or what if you put like a carrier sheet underneath it? I'm not sure it would peel away as well as it's meant to, because the pressure in there is literally going to squeeze a bit of adhesives there. Even if you did it on something like acetate, the only thing I would suggest is if you have any of the backing sheets from something like your foam pads. Oh yeah. Yeah. Is to put make sure it's the side that the foam pads have been stuck to, because both these two sides are different. Right. But obviously the foam pads come off here beautifully. If you popped your masking tape onto here, obviously not with the foam pads on, I'm talking about when you've used the foam pads and you've got this bit spare, then it should peel back off here, because this is actually a shiny surface. Okay. Yeah, but whereas if you go onto cardstock, or as I say, if you did it straight against your cutting mats, I have a feeling that it might stick too much. I think the tacky would become sticky because the Gemini would squeeze it. But yeah, it's something that I would try, but try cautiously. So the last thing that you want is to get adhesive inside your Gemini. Yeah. The last thing that you want, yeah. But very good tip about using the back of those foam pads, because obviously that's something we just throw away, isn't it? Yeah, or if you use the sticker makers, the Xyron, if you're lucky enough to have one of those, the piece that's left when you take the sticker off is the same paper. Just make sure that you get the right side. It's the side that things have been stuck to that you want to use. We sometimes use this as carrier sheets when we're prepping and we've actually got things sticky ready. Yeah, try that one. That's the only thing I can think of. Brilliant. It's also Paw Print x4's anniversary too today, so happy anniversary. Lots of people have been messaging in about books. Actually, quite a few people have said the same book. So LJ Ross's books about DC Ryan, there are 20 of them set in Holy Island, and they're all set in Northumberland. A great series, another recommendation for that. Detective books from Alison Lee. At the moment, I'm reading Stuart McBride, based in Aberdeen, and author. That's so terrible. I'm channeling Craig Laird, and the northeast of Scotland. Bit gory at times, but wonderful. And the main character in the first books is D.S. Logan McRae. Oh, I love all these ideas of books. I'm looking forward to working out what I'm going to do. And Marianne Rosie says, reading The God Is Not Willing by Stephen Erickson. Thank you, Sam. Right, better do some work now. I'm going to recap these acrylic markers. Now you've seen what you can do with them, I'm sure you will be inspired to start using them if you don't already have them. The first one here is your jewel. Each one's got 4 in them. This one is your brights. Then you've got the pastels. And then you have your essentials.
£22 or $30 for the whole pack, the whole set, £17.60 or $24. Now we have a bag of mystery. Ooh. It's not a mystery because I'm going to show you what's inside. Oh, actually, no. Who knows? I wouldn't do that to you. Right, bag of mystery. So this is your embossing mystery bag. Embossing was something I was a bit nervous about because I didn't quite work out, you know, is this the right kind of thing that I have to do? You know, is this a 3D one, a 2D one? This is great because there's so many different types of embossing folders in here. You will find loads of bits and pieces in here using lots of different types of craft. This first one is your Timeless Roses. It's a 3D embossing folder. That is an absolutely beautiful one. It looks like a Lalique perfume bottle. Really, do you not know what I mean by Lalique? Lalique? No, Lalique. So Lalique was a French, I think he was a sculptor, and he started designing perfume bottles. And he would do Lalique, Lalique, I think, and really sort of intricate kind of frosted glass bottles with these beautiful kind of designs almost sort of etched inside. Really beautiful. Again, random information that I've got in my head. The next one is your Elegant Floral Spray. Again, very, very pretty. And I think these make absolutely beautiful designs, I think particularly for anniversaries and weddings. And this one is your Garden Gnomes. This is your summer scene. Everyone loves the garden gnomes. We then have this one here, which is your Elegant Flourish. That is very pretty. And I love the idea that, you know, you can then colour over the top. It's great for sort of practicing your colours and really sort of getting a beautiful design. This one is your Hummingbird. This is a 3-part embossing folder. Again, very, very pretty. I haven't seen that one before. We've then got Country Lane, which is your gateway to the country, which you've seen before, which looks absolutely beautiful. If I tell you on the back, you can see how that looks. So that's your cut and emboss folder. Then we have your Regal Rectangle. Here, that is very pretty design, so you've got that little aperture in the middle. And then we have a couple of sewing inspired ones. This first one is a patchwork one with all these different patchwork little squares in it. And this next one is your sashiko, which is Japanese stitching embroidery and beautiful designs. They're great for a card for somebody who happens to be into your sewing. And this whole bundle, bag of mystery, is just £30 or $40. Your platinum price is £24 or $32. And there is so much in there. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 embossing folders in there, making that absolutely fantastic value. The next item I'm going to show you is the showstopper. Stop the show. Yeah, stop, bye. No, don't go. Loads and loads of things in here. The first thing I'm going to show you is some of the watercolour card, which I don't have anymore because my daughter took it from me. I know, how rude. She was like, I'm just making something. Making a mess is what she was doing. She was actually, she was taking photographs of houses, not random houses, she'd get arrested for that. No, we were taking photographs of our house, my mum's house, and then she was doing watercolour paintings of the house. And actually, she was really quite good. I mean, I wanted to be a bit critical, and I was like, actually, she's done a much better job than I would do. I'll get a picture. I'll show it in the next show. And this one is your tricolour. This is your aqua. This is your floral meadow. So you've got 3 different colours that work together in each one of those bags, in each one of those pens. You can see down here, so different to your tri-blend alcohol markers where you have all those 3 different tones. You've actually got different colours that are going to work in together there. So you're going to get that. You're going to get some of your acrylic markers in your jewel tones. You'll also get some of your spray misters, great for making all of those intricate kind of designs using those. We have also got some Ice Dance glitter paste, that beautiful, very rich, vivid electric blue. We have some of your blending tools, your round ones with 2 little pads. You've got some blending sponges. And then finally, you've got some gilding wax here, which I absolutely love. Again, small pot goes a really, really long way. £35 or $45. Platinum price is £28 or $36 for that whole bundle there. Again, like we said before, we give you some great deals. Robbie Hack said, what a mystery bag. It is a good mystery bag. Right, we're going to give you the opportunity to check out your baskets. We will see you in just a couple of moments.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Are we in trouble or are we all right? Yeah. Should be coming in. Should be coming. What does she do? Exactly how he looks.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
And I watch you every day, and it's just what really gets you through when you're really at rock bottom.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV, create every day.
Many of our viewers bring up time and time again, and that's our wax seal gate.
Thinking, Joe, it might not work as well because I've put too much. Oh, I've forgotten to put me thing in place.
Because I have a way of words that I think that doesn't engage with that and can come out all wrong.
Water.
That wasn't the one you just washed your brush in, was it?
Sorry. Yes, it doesn't matter.
No, it wasn't, was it? It was. Are you kidding?
I'm going to have to say, it's a slip of the tongue. I'm going to say it's maybe to do with my Scottish accent. I'm maybe going to say it's because of Mr. Ben Mosby. He is, well, yeah, he doesn't help matters.
Roll, foam on a 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 roll. Hey!
I've made pots that have exploded when I fired them. I've done zips in inside out. It happens to everybody.
We've all spilt our glitter all over our project or knocked the water over.
You're right.
I've just noticed I've got my dress on inside out.
So I was messing about doing some backgrounds with the sparkling, took the lid off it and managed to catch the pot somehow, and the whole thing came towards me, down my front, across my lap, onto the floor.
I went to reach for the water and, you know, do the tapping with the and so there was less tapping and more sort of a tsunami. I've got some.
Always makes me laugh that we've all done that, spilling all the water all over the surface. In fact, that even happened earlier on today. It wasn't any of us. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not going to say who it was. Someone just outside there. Anyway, Zoe Carver says, it's my 16th anniversary. I think it's silverware for this year. More than happy with chocolates and flowers. Well, happy anniversary. Loads of recommendations for books. On the Road by Jack Kerouac. Patricia Cornwell, this comes from my Fibroid Disney Journey. Chief Medical Officer Kay Scarpetta books. I've read one of those and I really, Body of Evidence I think I read, and that was really good. Debbie Mahan says, my local library is having a huge $1 per book sale today and I'm making a list with everyone's suggestions. That works really well. Let's have a look. Oh, Hannah says, I have a Lalique dragonfly brooch. I bought it because it was so pretty, but I'm not sure I've ever worn it as I'm not a brooch person. Do you know what I said? I lent my mum a brooch and for a wedding, and she said, I'm not a brooch person, it's an old lady thing. My mum is older. She's like 85. And I just thought, actually, I love a brooch. I think a brooch is a really nice thing. She might be watching. I think she might be packing. But Mum, you look lovely in the brooch. It's just a shame you had it upside down. Betty says, I've written 7 books, but they're not in libraries yet. Let us know about them. let us know what books you've written. The Sashiko embossing folder makes great mermaid fish scales. That's from Hannah Gosling. Paul Brick Times 4 says, I've been reading Diane Chamberlain's books over the summer, entertaining reading when not crafting. Marianne says, too many books on my list, on my read list. And Betty Gosling said, books are amazing, or on Amazon to purchase. Oh, Betty Gosling's books are on Amazon. Betty Gosling's books are on Amazon, blah, 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 blah. Nigel May wrote a book, didn't he?
He did.
Who's
Yes.
Quilling Me Softly. And that's supposed to be very good. I've not read it myself, but it's supposed to be very good. And it's a crafty novel as well. Keep the book ideas coming. I am writing them down, and I will take full advantage of my break to be buying things, including books. Right, next thing we're going to look at are animal dies here. So we've got 2 packs here. These are what we'd call historically applique dies. These are multimedia dies to create these little animal shapes. I say little, they're not little, they're quite significant. They're this kind of size. But on the packaging, they do look much, much smaller. So you've got this one here in order to make all these other little animals, do all unicorn, frogs, rabbits, all those kind of animals here. And then this one here was a festive animals selection. So you get all of the dies to make all the different shapes, including the star. Multimedia dies, so you'll be able to use these for fabric as well as cutting them through thicker cardstock. We're going to be using something like grey board perhaps. These two together, just £20 or $25. Your platinum price is £16 or $20. You're getting 45 different dies in total, and some of them are quite small, which are really useful, like little eyes. I think they're some of the, those tiny little dies are really, really handy. And Jan, you're going to be using one of these to make your next demo, aren't you?
Oh, I absolutely love these. I've actually had these on shows before and really, really enjoyed having a sort of, and I always call it playing with them because it's not like working. So yeah, I'm going to do something with them now, and then I've also got a demo with them with the ones in the star later on in the day. So I've chosen the little animal friends here, and they are absolutely adorable. So a couple of things about the dies. Becky mentioned the multimedia. It's actually labelled as a multi-craft die, which means that you can use, the minute you see that, means that you can use them on different mediums, which is why we're including them in that mixed media show. The reason for that is that they're slightly deeper cut than an ordinary silver die. So if you actually look at these, they're a different colour. So all our multi-craft dies, multimedia dies, are like this sort of brassy colour as opposed to the silver that we're used to. And all we mean by deeper is that the cutting edge on them is actually slightly deeper than a thin metal die. So that means that you can start and cut thicker mediums. So anything from sort of cotton fabric to denim to hessian. If you think about all the things we've talked about with the Geminis before, you can cut faux metal with them, you can cut balsa wood with them. The list just goes on. Faux leather, real leather, anything like that. Now I'm actually going to bring in something that we've launched fairly recently, and it gave me a perfect opportunity to have a play with it, because I'm going to have a go with the funky foam. Ooh. So the fact that this is actually a little bit deeper, these are great for. Now this will cut with ordinary thin metal dies because the foam will compress when it goes through the Gemini. But the fact that these have got these slightly deeper cutting edge on, perfect. So we're going to use some of that today. You also get in your kit, and this is just a godsend, it really is, because you get like a map of all the different animals. So first of all, it shows you all the different pieces that you get, because you look at that and think, well, wow, Jan, there's a lot of metal work there. What does what? Yeah. So here we've got an actual sort of key that tells us what all these pieces are. So I'm definitely going to need the head and the main body. And we're going to make the little mouse here. But he's going to be a very pink little mouse today, because he can be, crafter's license. So all I need to check on here then is looking at all the different parts. The little heart features on most of them. If you look at the designs on the front, the heart's been cut just the right size to fit on the tummies of the animals. So we're definitely going to use that one. And I do have that all, I've got some of these ready cut. He has got these gorgeous little feet. You can see here we've got the feet one. I've cut one of those. I'm going to cut another one of those out. And then you've got elements to cut out for the ears. So the little mouse has got round ears. So we're going to cut another one of those. And then there's also an inside part for the ear as well. Now I've already cut these out of some white that we're going to lay on top. If, for example, you're doing the rabbit, he's got the taller ears, you've got the unicorn horn there, so you've got the tail for some of the animals. So if you have a look on here, again, you've got your guide, the little cat tail, the unicorn tail, you've got the little shorter tail for the puppy, and we're going to do the mouse with the little tail as well. So I'm just going to take off the bits that I need. Okay, I think I've got some of the other pieces cut out. We need a nose as well, which is that one. We're going to have a little pink nose, or have I done the nose? Can't remember. Don't think I have. But the pink's not going to show up, so I might have to cut that out of a different colour. Now you can mix and match these. I'm going to mix and match them with some cardstock as well. So the first thing I'm going to do, you also get a step-by-step of how to put them together as well. So if I flip this over, our little mouse is here on this side. So it's telling me when I first start off that we're going to need the head and the body to get started with. And you can see these are a considerable size. On the back of they do look, it says on here not actual size, but on the back there are the measurements, and the tallest one is the rabbit with the long ears, and he's over 6 inches tall. So these are a good size for making things like, I just think things like finger puppets and things like that for storytelling for children, making mobiles and hanging them on mobiles out of fabric and things like that, as well as a front of a card. You know, you can use these as card toppers as well. You could actually have fun making them. Most of the elements will fit through the Gemini Mini, the majority of them, and you can sit and have fun popping them together. So I'm going to follow my details here. It's showing me that I need the 2 sets for the ears, the little tail, then we've added some detail at the front, we've added his feet, and then there's a little bit you can just do freehand if you wish, or I know some of them look great. I've got one to show you that's got the little googly eyes on, which again, really good sort of feature. So what we're going to do then is we're going to pop some of our pieces onto the foam. So I'm going to pop that on my cutting mat, and I need to cut the head and the body, and then we need another foot, we need another ear, we need a tail. I'm going to cut all those in the pink for this particular run through, and I am just going to tape them in place because I don't want them to slip off my foam when it goes through the Gemini.
Can you ink up this foam as like you can with the flower forming foam if you want to?
Can you what, sorry?
Can you use inks on it? If you want to.
I would think so. I haven't tried it yet. It's very new to me. My journey with foam has been a very different one because, as a lot of you know, I tend to use it for bridging. If I've got a large area that I want to raise on foam pads, I used to buy plain colours of funky foam to raise up things rather than using lots of different foam pads. So yeah, this is new to me, using it like this. I'm going to cut the little nose out of, I want a scrap of white card just to do the nose. I think, yeah, I've got a little bit down there. So yeah, I just want a little scrap. And when I'm cutting cardstock with these multi-craft dies, I tend to double it up. Because they are a little bit thicker, I tend to just double it up and cut twice so that it doesn't embed that metalwork in your plate. So yeah, anything like that, just sort of add a couple of layers to it. And then the second thing that I want you to think about when you're doing the multi-craft dies is your plate combination. So again, we've talked about this when we're using embossing folders and things like that. If you're putting something inside your plate sandwich that's thicker, we need to adjust the plate sandwich itself. So what I'm actually going to do, normally I would have my frosted plate and my magnetic shim and then the top plate. For a multimedia die, I'm going to take the magnetic shim away and I'm just going to use my frosted shim and then my top plate on there, okay? Because the die is thicker, it doesn't need as much pressure in the machine.
Okay.
And then we'll pass that through our Gemini, and that's literally going to cut me all those pieces out, and then I'll show you how I've put it together. I've got some of the pieces already cut that needed a duplicate. So I've just got some of the extra pieces. As I say, I don't think I did the nose for some reason. Must have missed that bit. So let's move those to one side. And then in here, we've now got the little nose cut out. You see it's gone through both of those without any trouble whatsoever. And then I tend to stick these together so that I've got a little bit more substantial piece.
Oh,
so
okay.
just, I mean, you can actually stick the cardstock together first if you wish. It's perhaps a bit easier, but then you need to wait for the glue to dry so that it doesn't squidge the glue out. As I say, the last thing that you want is to get adhesive inside your Gemini. So again, just using a little bit of our tacky glue. Seeing as I've cut that twice, I'm just going to stick them together to make it a little bit more rigid. And I'll leave that to dry while we're working with the other pieces. Yep, so that's his little nose in the white. Oops, come back. And then these ones, you can see here, we've got these pieces of foam have just cut out absolutely beautifully. So we've got another ear there. And then I will sort out all the dies with the tape in a second. And then we've got the tail. Okay, so I'll sort that out in a minute. So what we're going to do then is we're going to put the head, and the round part of the head tends to go towards the top. So if you have a look on a lot of the shapes here, this shape at the bottom is like the cheeks and the chin on each one. Yeah. So the round dome part is the top of the head. Now some of them have got little hair pieces, which are great. You know, like the little puppies might have a little bit of hair on top of the head. You know, there's so many different ways of putting these together. So yeah, this one's actually going to stick together on here. And my chosen glue for this is our tacky glue. This comes into its own at this point because it will stick other mediums. So yeah, it will stick paper and cardstock together, but it also works on wood and metal embellishments. And I've tried out the different glues and it does work great on the foam. Now that's what I decant into my little applicator bottle here, just so that I've got a little bit more control. So I'm actually going to pop some on here. Now it does take a little bit longer to dry because again, we're working on something that's less porous than a cardstock. Normally the glue would seep into the fibres of the card and you would get a quicker stick. So just bear in mind that it will take a little bit longer to stick together. Okay, and then his little tail is going to go behind here. So again, we're just going to pop some on here and then decide whereabouts you want that to sit. Less glue, Jan.
Hannah says, I bought these yesterday as I figured they'd be good for crafting with my daughter or horrendous, one of the two.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then said, wow, I didn't realise quite how big they were.
They are lovely.
And that funky foam cuts like a dream. Yeah, they are absolutely ideal, aren't they? I
just think it just adds that little bit of something. I mean, this would work if you don't have the funky foam. This would work out of cardstock. The only thing that I would suggest is if you're using those multi-craft dies, the multimedia dies, is that you build up your cardstock. So what I've done with some of the ones that I'm going to show you later is I've used some of my scrap. You know that I keep all the textured card as scraps. I just stick it onto a piece of multi-purpose card so that I've got that bit more depth going through. Otherwise, you tend to find that the pressure of the Gemini sort of if it just goes through one layer, it sometimes embeds it in the plate here, and then you're sort of trying to prise it out of your plate. You've probably experienced this. I've done it before myself. So yeah, just be aware of that. So then what we've got is we've got our two little feet that are going to come on the bottom, and then I actually use the little circle in here. So you can see on our metal dies here, we've got the circles and the inside of the ears, and I've cut those already. And we're just going to pop, just to create like those little paws, like so. And again with this one. And I just think, yeah, to actually craft with the children. I know my little Toby's just getting into crafting. He loves it. Can we do some crafting, Nanny? And I bought him one of those very little inexpensive craft boxes that you can buy in the shops, and it's just full of things like pipe cleaners and pom-poms and googly eyes, and he just loves sticking them on bits of paper at the minute, and he thinks he's crafting with Nanny. He just absolutely loves it. So yeah, every time we have them now, we have to wait for the baby to go to bed because he just gets into everything, bless him. So when it's his nap time, we get the craft box out and away we go, and he just spends an age with it. He loves it. So yes, I think he's going to be a crafter in some shape or form.
I love googly eyes. I think they're really underrated because I like seeing them in unexpected places. Like sometimes, well, where I live, my post box has got googly eyes on it, which I think it just makes me giggle. Sometimes like lampposts might have a googly eyes on it or something like that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's.
Okay, and then I used cardstock for the little heart. So this one I've cut out of some scrap card. And all I've done is I've just passed it through an embossing folder just to give it a little bit of texture.
Yeah.
You can just see there. Don't have to. It was just, you know, I thought, why not? So again, that's just got some little dots on.
Can you emboss the foam?
Again, it's something I haven't tried, Becky. It's something that we perhaps need to have a play with. I know Craig's done some work.
It's quite new, isn't it? It's quite a new product.
It is, yeah. And using it in that basis, it's not something I've really had much chance to have a play with yet. As I say, I know Craig's had a play with it, and I think he's done a tutorial with some of it. But yeah, it's something that I want to sort of have an experiment with before I suggest what we can use with it and what we can't.
Yeah. Well, I suppose if it doesn't work, it's just going to stretch it, isn't it, really? Not going to do any harm to your machine. Oh, that looks so cute.
The little nose. Wait while you see the one that I've made. I've done a different one for you to have a look at. So yeah, we'll pop his little nose on there. Now you could actually, if you've got any smaller dies, in this one, the circle die is actually this big. But I know there are other die sets around that have got smaller circles. So if you wanted to cut the eyes, you could. But if not, you know, just that micron pen again. And we can literally just give him, or you could use little pearl accents, you know, the little pearl beads, something like that.
Oh, so sweet.
And then, of course, because he's a mouse, well, first of all, he needs a little mouth. And then we'll just give him some little whiskers there. So you can just see. So that one all together now is finished. I'll just give him a measure for you. And again, some of it depends on how you stick it together as to how far up you put things. But if I just transfer this one over here for a second, he is about 5 1/4 inches tall by about 3 1/4 inches wide. So you can see, I'm just thinking he'd look nice with a little split pin, so that his head wobbled as well.
Having a slight angle, it just makes everything look cuter, doesn't it?
But then I've got in my drawer, I've got a load of lollipop sticks that I bought years and years ago, again, that we use for crafting. So I've actually covered one of those with some washi tape. And look at this little guy. Talking about the googly eyes. So this one's the same set, the little frog. And again, I've used a mixture of the green funky foam and then a little bit of cardstock just for the highlight there. And all I've done is, this is actually intended to be one of the rabbit's ears.
Okay.
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah.
And I've just cut that, and it was the perfect size to just cover up the back of the back of the stick there, but popped him on, and I'm just thinking for storytelling and things like that, these would make great little props to have as like little puppets for storytelling and things like that, just by popping the lollipop stick behind it there. Or, you know, if you make these out of fabric, you could actually stick them together and make them into a little finger puppet, again for storytelling. I just think there's so many different ways. As I say, thread, pop a little eyelet and thread them. You could use them as a mobile. You could make bunting out of them instead of the heart, put a letter on to spell something out if it's a children's birthday party, or a grown-up, you know, you never know. But yeah, they're so versatile. And then later on in the day, I'm going to show you an idea of something to do with the ones that are in the star, the festive ones as well. So if you can pop back later, we'll bring those up then.
Excellent. Oh, I love that. Oh, that is super popular. Lots of people loving that. I've got a couple of questions. Terry Anderson says, Jan, do you think the foam could be doubled up since it's a multimedia die? Can you
Absolutely.
Cut two?
Yeah, give it a go. The only thing I find with that is that you won't, the dies tend to give a beautiful beveled edge on your die cuts. You'll have noticed this when you're cutting paper. If you double up, you'll get that lovely edge on the top one, but not quite as pronounced on the bottom one. So if you're okay with that, absolutely fine. I think, yes, you'll get 2 cuts out of it easily.
Okay. And the other question was, can the foam you use with the Gemini MIDI or Mini as well?
Yes, again, I cut some of the smaller pieces out with my mini.
Okay.
Just popping it through there, yeah.
Fantastic. So these are our multi-craft animal dies. You've got 2 in this collection. The first one is this one, which is your, I think it's Festive Friends. Yeah, Festive Animals. It's got your little stars. Now, Nicholas is saying is one of these a llama. I think we discovered that this is a rabbit down here. We've got rabbit, a robin, a polar bear, an owl, penguin, reindeer. But you reckon it's a llama, okay? Okay, if you... Well, you've seen many a llama look like that. Well, maybe it is a llama. And actually, you know, all of these can be mixed and matched together, so you can make them the way you want to. And this one is the one that you've just seen Jan using. And as Jan said, on the back, it shows you how big they are. They are quite hefty. You know, they're not tiny little dies. You're getting lots of different shapes, and they're quite versatile, as you've just seen. £20 or $25. Your platinum price is £16 or $20 for all of these. I think everyone's liking these. Jeffrey says, I've used funky foam in place of foam pads whilst waiting for some new ones. Yeah, that's a great option. Loads of comments again about books. Lots of people liking Game of Thrones. I started reading it, and then because the show went so far in advance, I'd sort of lost interest in that. Rosalind says these have been on my wish list for a while. I think the items that we've just been showing you, I need them for my quilting projects. These are really good, really useful and actually just for all the different dyes you're going to be getting in them, even if you're not going to be using them exactly in this way, but they're just really, really useful. Next thing I was going to say was, there was something here. Adriana says, my sisters and I recently started our sister book club. We take it in turns recommending books. We've gone through Game of Thrones author Ruth Ware and currently reading American Royals. Alex, who's our social media superstar today, says, I like the Game of Thrones books, and particularly the House of the Dragons, because the new series, The House of Dragons, is round the corner. They can be a bit gruesome at times, but they're my favourite ever. I bought my mum an iPad, and I got all set up with Netflix, and she said, I think I'm going to start watching that Game of Thrones series that everyone's been talking about. I forgot the first episode in the first series of Game of Thrones. Yeah. Bit of an eye-opener for my mum. She said, I don't think it's quite for me. I'm not surprised. There was quite a lot of things going on in that.
There was, wasn't there?
Right,
Yeah.
we do need to do a vote for demo of the show. So do you want to get your makes all ready?
Yes,
Yeah,
I will.
fantastic.
I've just very, very briefly come back to that glitter that we did at the top of the show. I mean, I know we've had a couple of hours, but yeah, easy. Within that 2 hours, this is well dry. So you can just see now that we've got that beautiful glittery texture on there, just highlighting one of the papers, just accenting it. Yeah, so that was the idea. So yeah, we'll not pop that one in the vote. There's been a lot of techniques this morning, so we've not got a lot of finished samples, but we've got the lovely little stacking flamingos there.
Oh, I love that.
So there we go. Stand tall and be fabulous. I just think that one's great. Then we had a look at those acrylic markers, which again, I didn't get a chance to make a finished design with those, but just giving you an idea, you know, if you want to make a batch of Christmas cards, if you're happy to do the handwriting, you've got those on there. And then we've just had a look at those lovely little animals. And because he's dry, I've just popped him there for you to have a look at, the little frog. The little mouse is still sat drying on my mat there. So yeah, not a lot to vote for this morning because there's been a lot of heavily technique-based things. Let's see how we go.
I think it's quite clear which one's going to win. I have to be honest. I think everyone loves what you've just been making. Right, the next thing we're going to have a look at is some gilding wax, and I'm just trying to look as to what the names are on them, because not all of them are saying the names in the same place, which is just a bit of a challenge for me. Oh no, actually, one of them's just been wiped off.
Go on, which ones have you got?
So I've got
silver,
yeah, okay.
Silver one's obvious.
Oh yeah, so I've got Renaissance gold,
Yep.
first of all, which I love that colour. That
like
is
a coppery
beautiful
gold, yeah.
colour, really nice. And then I have the silver. I'm all right with these ones. The next one is I think that's antique gold.
Yeah, that's the darkest one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you are king gold.
Yep.
And this one, I have no idea.
Empire.
Empire
gold. Yeah,
Empire.
that one's a bit more brassy, that one.
Because
King gold's a bit more like a soft gold, yeah.
That's why you should say it, and it's been rubbed off over being sort of touched.
Very
but these
unhelpful.
are absolutely... Oh, I've opened the wrong one. Okay, look at those. Look at that. Small pots, but they go a long way. £47.96 or £67.96. Platinum price is just £38.37 or £54.37. Now, Jan, what would I use this for?
Again, this will go on to lots of different things. It was designed originally to enhance furniture, so you can do it straight onto wood or MDF. It doesn't actually need priming. You can use it obviously on any of your cardstock projects. It goes beautifully over things like our Centura Pearl onto there, you know. So yeah, it's just there as an embellishment option. It won't adhere to something like glass or plastic. It will need something that's porous for it to actually adhere to. And then once you've used it, give it a slight buff with a smooth cloth. We're going to use some in the, which I think it's the next show, the Mixed Media show. We're going to use some with one of the embossing folders again, because it's a technique that never ever grows old. So if you can tune in with us at 3 p.m, I will show you physically how to use it if you've not come across it before.
Fantastic, looking forward to that. The next item I've got is some glitter glue, and this one is your all that glitters. So this is like an iridescent pot, and with each of these you're going to get 3 in each pack, but this whole bundle together you're going to get all the different colours. This next one is your sparkling florals. So you've got sort of a green, a pinky kind of cerise colour, and also sort of dark purple. Then we have you got bloop, 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 bloop. Precious pastels. Need to put my teeth back in. We have festive frost, and we have glittering ballroom here. And if I show you the actual boards, you can see what they look like. This first one, precious pastels. Look at those colours. Beautiful idea of these. Now, great if everyone loves a bit of glitter. Everyone loves a gemstone, but you make your own gemstones. You can see up here by using a little dollop of glitter glue on that. This next one is your festive frost. That's really lovely. Those colours are so Christmassy, aren't they? Next one is your glittering ballroom with those sort of gold, silver, and the black has got glitter in it as well. And then this one is your all the glitters. So these are your iridescent ones, great for, you know, all your Christmas cards and things like that. And then finally, you've got your sparkling florals, particularly like that green, very similar to the green that Jan used in those acrylic pens earlier on today. £27.96 or $39.80. Your platinum price is £22.37 or $31.84. Have you got any samples over there?
I have. I just happen to have a few samples because, again, these are a great addition. I know Leanne's slowly working on building that mixed media range, you know, and you think, there's so many different mediums that we can use out there, and I just think these are a great way of accenting things and lots of different ways of using them as well. So this one has actually had a stamped image, heat embossed, and then we've used the glitter inside. They can just see that gorgeous lustre and sparkle from the glue inside there. So that's one way to use them. We've used them over an embossing folder. So we've actually done the embossing and then highlighted the area with those gorgeous glitter glues as well. So again, with that little precision tip, you can get into the smallest places. Again, this one's had die cut flowers made, and then we've glittered inside. So we've used the track from the flower with it being die cut and used the glitter inside in the little wells inside to create the flowers there. Highlighting again your stamped images. So this one, you know, perfect for anything that has wings really, whether it's fairies, butterflies, dragonflies, anything like that. It's just bringing that gorgeous sparkle out. And then again, you know, accenting embellishments. So this one, you know, if you don't mind getting your fingers dirty, sprodge a bit out, finger out, and all we've done is dabbed the edge of the flowers there. I don't know whether the camera's picking that up. You can just see on the edge of the flowers that lovely sparkle.
Oh,
just
yeah.
adding that accent. And then again, a perfect example of how to make those lovely little accents. So the little drops, the clear ones just look like little water droplets with a bit of sparkle in them. And then you've got the different colours that you can mix and match with your projects as well. So lots and lots. We're going to do some highlighting work again later on with these. We're going to take a piece of pattern paper again and do some highlighting with them. It's a great way to add. You know, a lot of our papers, not all of them, but a lot of our papers are matte finish on them, which means you can add other mediums to them, and I think we tend to forget about that. I know I'm the world's worst at just cutting a piece of paper and using it as background, but I know Leanne said, you know, don't overlook, for example, you know, that has got gorgeous imagery on here. You know, this could make the basis of the card front. You wouldn't need to do much more.
No.
Maybe highlight, and that's what we're going to do. We're just going to use something like that and do the glues as highlights on there later.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. We have a winner.
We have a winner.
Yeah, and we need to stand corrected, Nicola, because we weren't right. But I think that it's deservedly the winner. It is the Flamingos.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised because they are absolutely gorgeous. They look so cool. I love that.
It's just a fun way. They are a fun set of stamps, these. The way that they've been designed, it just brings that element of fun. And I just think, I was just looking at them there, you could actually do them at an angle. And just by adding a couple of little lines at the side to show movement, they could all be like toppling, as if he's wobbling at the top. Yeah, it would look cool, wouldn't it?
Oh, I like that idea. And they work with a bit of glitter glue as well, wouldn't they?
Absolutely, yeah.
Excellent. Right, the next item I'm going to show you are our floral frame cut and embossing folders. So you can see these. This is a 70% saving here. This is a huge collection. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was just thinking, have I got, there seems to be so many here. Have I got them twice? But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. It's just that there's a lot of them in this collection. And this first one here is your classic winter rose. So you'll be getting this really intricate embossing fold around the outside, but it's also going to be cutting through. And they're all going to be similar type kind of design, or same sort of thing, different designs. This next one is your forget-me-not. Love a forget-me-not. This one is your peony blossoms. I'm going to try and guess without looking at them. Christmas rose. I reckon this one is. Beautiful blossom. I was nearly there. Right. Okay, this one is, I can't know. Fragrant magnolia. This one. Were you guessing? In the, this one, I know. I can tell what this one is. We're looking at gerbera. Do you know that was created? That it was developed, that plant, so specifically for flower arrangers, because it has no leaves on the actual stem. Use this information again. This one, rose, vibrant rose. And this final one, the daffodils, Nicola, daffodils. Dancing daffodils in here. Wow, that's a huge collection. 8 different dies in there, embossing and die folders. £31, $35, £24.80 or $28. That is an incredible deal. Definitely worth doing. Right, next item I'm going to show you. Ta-da! This is your weekday wonder deal. Can I move it just in a little bit so you can see? So you're going to be getting your Gemini Mini. So this is super portable. I mean, I could pop that in my handbag, no problem at all. Well, I say most size. If they're big enough to, or small enough to fit in here, they'll go through. But it doesn't matter whether you think, oh, it's a multimedia die, maybe I won't be able to push it through. The actual pressure that you've got on the machine when you turn the handle is going to allow you to be able to cut through things. I find these really useful. I think most of us here tend to have one of these on top of our normal Gemini because they're just quick to, you can make a few flowers or something like that. I tend to use this rather than my main Gemini with some of my flower forming foam. But not only do you get this, you're going to be getting a little storage bag as well. And the storage bag is nice and convenient. Like I say, popping it, and if you don't want to use it as a storage bag, you can use it as a lunch bag. There we go. This is a really great deal. Just £29.99 or $49.99. Platinum price is £23.99 or $39.99, and you'll be getting double points. So this makes it well worth popping into your basket. Lillian Kwok says we should call the flamingos a well-balanced diet. That is good. I like that. And I thought they looked so good, those little flamingos. Really loving those designs. Paul Print Times 4 says, Jan, it's always good to see you, and to me as well. Thank you. It's always good to see everybody in the comments. Violet says, just ordered those cute animal dies. Thank you, Jan, for the inspiration. And that's the thing, sometimes you do need that little spark of inspiration to think, oh, actually, you know, that is exactly the kind of thing that I want to have and want to make. But I definitely think using some of that funky foam with those animals is definitely a good shout, as is this for you. So later on today, we've got Colour Me Happy. And what are we going to be doing? Little sneaky idea about what you're going to be doing later on, Jan?
Sneaky peek.
Sneaky peek.
I'm going to be doing a little bit more with the glitter paste. We're actually going to make a full project with the glitter paste in there. We're going to have a look at the gilding wax again with one of those cut and emboss folders. We're going to have a look at, I'm getting the shows mixed up now because some of them are animals later.
Animal Antics is tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got sort of, I'm just trying to think what I'd got left for the mixed media one. Lots and lots of things. As I say, I'm getting mixed up because I'm picturing things from the other show, which is at 6 o'clock tonight. So yeah, but yeah, lots of multimedia.
Excellent. Again. So this is definitely the day, if you've been thinking about dabbling into multimedia and you don't really know whether, you know, things are going to be right for you. There's loads of deals on the website. So it is Fiver Friday, as well as Fibre Friday and Five Friday. Have 5 pieces of your fruit or vegetables today and take advantage of a Fiver Friday on the website as well. And do have a look, every day's a school day, so we're going to be looking on there. There's going to be lots of multimedia deals. You can be able to get 70% off some multimedia products as well. And I'm just leaning back to see all of the different things that I've got underneath my desk to show you later on. Lots and lots of different techniques that we're going to be able to show you. Jan is our multimedia super talented expert, so she is the lady to answer any of your questions if you've been concerned about the difference between glitter glue and glitter paste. This is your opportunity to message in. I do hope you've enjoyed the show. We've enjoyed being here as well. Do keep your messages coming through about all of those different books as well, because I'm finding them really, really useful. I'm certainly going to find out about Jan's daughter's book as well. We're going to go and have a little break. We will see you all back at 3 p.m. With your next show, and it's all going to be about multimedias.